Hi everyone and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. In this episode we headed back across to Western Australia to review the final round of the Atomic Western Australian Bream Boat Series for 2024. This one was held on the Swan River on the 13th of October. It's a great little episode. I'm going to roll the intros. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right, so a couple of things going on. I hope you caught the new monthly report that we put out last Thursday. So this was a little, initiative that I've worked out with Brett Geddes, and we're just going to do a monthly report. We're going to talk all things fishing, not just bream, but definitely lure fishing. And yeah, let us know what you think. If you haven't heard it, go back. It's a long listen. I think it's like an hour and 3/4, and I think it's the first time I've ever been shut down. Brett wound me up, so there you go. Anyway, great little episode. I really enjoyed doing that, and I hope you guys like it too. So let us know what you think. Let us know if you've got any ideas. We're definitely going to talk to some other anglers around the country, the idea being talking about what's going on that month. So it doesn't have to be just Brett and myself. Definitely keen to speak to some other anglers that want to have some input. So reach out. Let us know what you think. All right. In other news, the collective, we're on fire now. We're into Focus Group 4. So each month or each sort of 6 weeks, I think is about the time period, we review a particular lure or technique or whatever and get together as a group and talk about it and try and learn some stuff about it. And we're all trying as a group to make our bream fishing better. So it's a nice little community. If that sounds like something you want to be part of, then definitely head over to breamfishingproject.supercast.com. Sign yourself up. It's a cost of what is now a pretty cheap lure a month, and you can be part of that, and hopefully you can catch some more fish. All right, so here we go with the stats for this competition. Anyway, this was held on Sunday, the 13th of October. In the fish activity wheel, we had 39, with a major bite period at 7:14 through to 9:44, minor one at 1:07 through to 2:37. High tide was at 5:37 at 0.63, with a low tide at 2:44 at 0.19. Okay, let's get into the angler interviews. All right, so coming in third place, I have Team Fish Catcher. They dropped 4 fish for 2.340. There's 2 podcasts in a row for them. I'd like to welcome back to the show Paul Furlong and Dave Eccleston. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, mate. How you going?
Mate, I'm pretty good. Like I said, 2 in a row, so 2 podiums is pretty good going, hey?
Yep, can't complain at that.
Yeah, over the moon with that one. So a goal of ours at the last tournament was to get on the podcast, and it's 2 in a row.
2 in a row. And when you look at the results, as I've spoken about with all the interviews, really close. Like one small upgrade and you win.
Yep.
Anyone wins with one small upgrade. That's it, isn't it? That's the way it works.
Well, yeah, we were only one small upgrade away from not finishing third as well. Like, Rue was right behind us.
That's right. There was only 20 grams to fourth as well. Yeah. So there's nothing in it.
And then we were right second place and even
closer to first. Yeah. So very tight.
Very tight, but we like that. It makes for the more exciting way in, and it's kind of cool.
It does.
All right. So tell us, did you guys put much into pre-fishing for this one?
Yeah, well, the Swan's our local system, so I kind of fish it most weekends. So I just kind of went about it the usual way. Yeah, pre-fished pretty well. It actually pre-fished quite well. Pre-fished with Dave once. I think we did together once. Yep. And then I did 2 other sort of proper pre-fish. I thought I'd do a really consistent pre-fish. I thought I'd treat it as a kind of a tournament day sort of thing. Yeah, it fished very well. It actually fished very, very well. I got actually very big fish. I got a 41, a 40, a 37 and a 35.
Wow, that's winning.
Yeah, within a 20-minute period in one stretch of river. So,
right.
That's what really locked in that spot.
That's what locked in that spot. We went back there the week after. The fish was still there, not as big, but they were still there. They were still good quality fish.
And we had fortunate to get there first on tournament day.
Yeah, similar conditions, all these sort of things played into why we chose that spot.
Okay. All right. And in terms of, so you've located what seems to be one of the better spots. What about lure selection? Did it make much difference?
Well, we kind of worked out that they were eating
bait fish profiles.
Yeah, bait fish profile plastic, and with more of a jerkbait style fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, so we found our bagfish came on Lucky Craft Pointer and the Sprat 75, but with the Sprat 75, we were fishing it like jerking a hard body.
Okay.
Yeah, so not really letting it hit the bottom, twitching it through the water column, and just getting clunked. But the bite it wasn't a hot bite. Like, we got a first fish, which turned out to be our best fish. Within the first 10 minutes.
And that's on comp day?
Yeah.
Yep. This is all comp day, yeah.
Which is nice to see nerves. And great to know that the fish were on the spot that we were in. So, yeah, that made us feel pretty good. And then, probably a fish every 15 to 20 minutes after that. So it's kind of bagged out by 8:30.
See, we were lucky to get there because we left 11th, and it's 5 knots all the way down until it gets to the ski area, which is open water, and this spot's like at the bottom of the ski area, so any boat that was faster than my boat could have got past us, which is most of the field. Most of all the bass boats are. My little Hornet's not that fast.
Yeah.
But, we were lucky enough kind of to get there first, and away we went.
Yeah. Okay, so question with the Sprat. If you're fishing it like a jerkbait, what hook are you putting in it?
It's 128. Hidden weight size.
Hidden weight, a TT.
Size 1 or I fish 1 or 2. It doesn't really bother me that much, but 1 is general what we fish.
Yeah. And the reason I ask is a jerkbait, I assume you want the plastic to sit more level, so if you're just going to twitch better.
Yeah, you're not hopping it sort of thing. It's definitely a twitch.
So I wasn't doing like the sort of prawn skipping thing. Your long cast, skip it across the surface, stop it, let it sink, gets eaten. It was land in the water, let it sink a little bit, and then I kind of, in my head when I'm doing it, I kind of think like I'm fishing a bent minnow.
Sure.
On the top, but I'm doing it with the Sprat under the water.
Cool. All right, so you started getting fish and you filled your bag. How was it? Was there any good fish in the bag?
36, 35, I think it was the second fish. Then we got two
like a 27 and a 28 or something like that, maybe. Or...
Which we ended up upgrading both of those. We upgraded one of them in that morning bite when we had the breeze on the flat.
Sure.
And then as the breeze dropped out, it got really hot and really still.
Really hot and still.
The hottest day in a long time. And the bite really backed off. We catch a lot of flathead.
Yeah.
Fair few grunter. But the bream really, really went off the tube. And so
they were still there. They just go off the bite, though. They just don't feed when it's like that. They're spooky.
Yeah.
It's fairly shallowish water. It's not, you were sort of fishing, it's a metre to metre and a half kind of depth.
Yeah.
A fairly sharp drop. So it's a bit of bank, then it sort of drops down to like a metre, then it's like gradually down to like 2 metres. But we're sort of fishing that first third of the bank from the sand or the reed edge out to about a third of the way out kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we did try fishing a bit deeper, like on the same flat, but drifting off the flat a little bit and thinking maybe the fish with a condition change had just sort of gone into a slightly deeper water, but
just flathead.
Just more flathead.
Right.
On tournament day is really annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you swap over to Sprats or did you throw Lucky Craft as well?
Yeah. So 2 bagfish came on the Lucky Craft pointer and 2 came on the Sprat. Yeah, but
we tried a few things. We tried cams and tines. Yeah. I start off slow rolling the slim swim while Dave will twitch something. And sometimes a slow roll will get, like I was getting bites, but they weren't hooking up.
Sure.
As soon as I hopped the slim swim, I got a fish. It was a small fish, but I got one. So then we sort of worked out that there was more of a hop or a twitch pattern.
Yeah.
They liked it sort of moving a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why we sort of went to the Hurricane Sprat and the hard body as well. The Lucky Craft pointer seemed to work.
But yeah, no vibes, no musks.
No,
we tried
a few different things, but just we seemed to hone in on that bite, and that was similar in pre-fish, a similar kind of bite in pre-fish as well.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys work really well as a team, just trying to cover all the options till you dial in on what's working?
Yeah, we feel like we do. We feel like we fish the same but different, if that makes sense. Like we will try different styles or different profiles even just to see what works.
Yeah.
The thing that suits us as a team as well is we both fish really slow. Like we're happy to both grind out a spot.
And I'm probably one of the slowest people. Like I will not move far unless I'm confident there's no fish there. But I'm generally, sometimes it hurts staying, but sometimes it pays off. It's
like I have no issues throwing 10 casts at one snag. And I know fish with some other guys that would hate that.
That would just move off.
One cast and gone. So
yeah, and you know what? There's merits to both of those. Sometimes you should. The first cast is the one that's going to get them, and then other times it might be the 10th cast. It might be the perfect spot.
That's right. And the Swan River is a very fickle river for that. It can be like that where you just have to sit there and grind it out. The fish are there.
Yeah,
get them to bite. They're certainly there. If you move, then you're off the fish.
Yeah, we fish probably about a 200-metre section of the flat for 3/4 of the day.
Yep.
Okay. And from what you said, you got your bag early and then you only ended up with one upgrade throughout the rest of the day?
2 upgrades.
We got 2 upgrades, yep.
But we went from like a 27 to a 28 and a 26 to a 28 and then upgraded a 28 to another 28 that just looked a bit plumper.
Sure.
So that one, went in the well. So, we got one at about 11:30, same area, just on the opposite side, but it was just a random bite. We put a lot of casts in and moving along that flat and just one hooked up.
I know the fish are in that area as well, like they are there, but it was just the wrong time of day, and we just we'd run out of options almost by then. We're running out of time and options, I think, by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was the smallest fish in the bag was a 28 tipper, which we would love to have got rid of, but just couldn't get it.
Fair enough. So with the sprats you're using a 128th, what sort of leaders were you running?
I was fishing 3-pound FC Rock.
I was just fishing 4-pound the Daiwa X-Link, I think it is.
Righto. And both braid leader combos?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
You're pretty much 2 rod lengths of leader, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm 2 rod lengths.
Yeah, so kind of up and back. Perfect. All right. I think that probably covers the fishing. In terms of the weigh-in, whereabouts did you guys weigh in? Did you weigh in early or late?
We kind of weighed in the middle of the pack sort of thing.
Yeah,
the water was the water quality was pretty dirty, so I was a little bit worried about the fish in the live well. Because my live well doesn't actually recirculate, so it just pumps water in and pumps and out. So you don't want to be pulling up on the bank and then getting all the water from the back of the boat because it's fairly shallow. And so I was a little bit worried about the fish. The water quality wasn't the greatest during the day. It was like a warmer day. And so we kind of thought we'd get them weighed in. We didn't think we'd do that well. We thought maybe top 10, we thought there'd be some bigger bags, but going on pre-fish and that.
We had no sort of idea of what anyone fishing down around the bridges and the structure around the city, what that might have fished like. Like if you look at last year, the Team Blake won with 3 fish.
Fishing, but got big fish. Like there's big fish there at times, but they're always there.
Yeah,
they're hard to get to bite though.
Yeah, well, I think Bream for this event was 800 and something grams.
Yeah, 880 or something maybe. Which is not
a nice fish, but not a trophy.
I was expecting to be a couple of kilo fish weighed in for sure.
Yeah.
I think our biggest went 710 or something, which is still not it's a good fish, but it's still nothing as what we thought we'd get.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good if you got 4 of them, but on its own.
Yeah, that's right. Even 4 of them, sometimes honestly thought you'd need over 3 kilos to win this event.
Yeah, I was thinking 3+ kilos.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, wow.
It fished really well leading up to it.
Yeah, how funny is that? You go out on pre-fish or social fishing, you Raynham, comes around a comp day, and you just can't do it.
It's different, that's right.
So, very good. All right, I reckon that's pretty cool, guys. Tell me, what did you get to take home for 3rd place in this one?
So we got $400 cash.
Yep.
And what else do we get?
Got a novelty check, which is always nice.
Yep. $200 complete angler voucher.
Nice.
And rod each. TT.
Redback?
Yeah, red. Like one of them each. And just a little
Shimano pack of plastics and lures and stuff. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good prize, yeah.
Absolutely. Good for a day out in your local.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So, look, one more thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
All the WATA boys for starters, I guess, everyone that puts on the event. they do a great job setting up and the weigh-in and everything. It runs really well. It's quite a social weigh-in. It's very, everyone's welcome and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's good turnout. And the round sponsors, Atomic and Complete Angler Netherlands, for getting behind us.
100%.
It's good.
Very good.
And everyone else for turning up and getting involved. It's a great series.
Yeah, it definitely is a good little series there. Whereabouts are you? I was just checking the Angler of the Year.
Yeah, I think we're
third, but there's an equal first.
Equal first and equal third.
Yeah.
So Rick and Steve at the top, I think. Then Carl's second,
equal.
Matty and Carl.
Yeah.
So they're equal.
It's
and
tight.
then it's Alex and us.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, so you got 5 points or 6 points to make up.
The mighty Blackwood.
The mighty Blackwood. Good luck with that. I hope you go well, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I hope we talk to you after the Blackwood.
Yep, hopefully we do.
So good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Okay, fishing.com.au, your one-stop bream lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest bream tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranker Crabs, OSB bent minnows, Z-Man plastics, Eco Gear lures, and Dial rods, reels, and tackle. Same-day shipping, shop where the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au, online or in-store at shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. All right, so a couple of new lures that I haven't really noticed before, I think they've been there for a while, but I just haven't picked up on them, is the Baramba Flatstock 64R. So this is a surface lure with stingers, as well as the Baramba Vibinator 38. So 38mm vibe with just stingers on the back. Definitely jump into those. As surface has just been going off this year. I picked up another couple of Jackal Sizens or Susans or whatever they are the other day, as well as to add to my collection of TMCO soft shell cicadas. Anyway, if that's something you're looking for, jump onto fishing.com.au. Okay, so up next in second place, I've got Team Juicy. So with me from Team Juicy, I have Paul Siemazsko. So welcome back to the show, mate.
Thanks very much, Andy. How you going?
Mate, I am pretty good, but it looks like you had a pretty good day in what was a very, very close competition.
It was, yeah. Look, I can't complain. It's been a long time since been up on the podium, especially in the boat event. So, real happy. Just happy to get a qualification and fishing with my mate. It's always good. So, yeah.
Very good. Now, I unfortunately weren't able to line Jesse up, but do you guys fish together normally? How's that look?
Yeah. We've been fishing the teams events for about the last 5 or 6 years now. So, yep.
Okay. And whose boat are you fishing from?
Mine.
Yours. Okay, cool. Then, okay, so leading into the event, tell us, did you get out and get a bit of a look around for pre-fish?
Yeah, I went probably about 3 weeks before the event. We have a 2-week pre-fish ban prior to all of our comps, and struggled a little bit, but found just one area that just had, got an absolute cracker for our standards anyhow. And I was like, well, I know where I'm going to start. I always try and find a bit of an indication to where, and then if that doesn't work, just a bunch of other spots, just, milk runs. Just we were fortunate. As soon as I turned up to the first spot, turned the sounder on, and it was just alive with fish. So I thought, well, they're all here. All we have to do is try and catch them. Then I think we had a bag by about 8 o'clock.
Right.
And then then we only got maybe 2 upgrades for the day. Just not very big, but the fish just seemed to get smaller. We're still catching them, we weren't getting any more upgrades. So that was it for when we tried to find a couple of other spots, but same thing, small fish. Ended up going back to our original spot, and there was a few boats that have sort of been through it as well. And that was it pretty much. And then the day was over. So, yeah.
Right. What'd you get your fish on?
Slim swims pretty much was the majority. And then a couple of fish. I got one on a baby vibe, but I think Jesse got one on a spike. So, that was, but predominantly was the Z-Man slim swims. Yeah.
Yeah, right. What sort of structure were you fishing? Was it, deep holes or edges or?
Yeah, it was just, it's like a sandy edge. There's a bit of like rock and stuff around, a little rock wall. But that's all it was. It was just between 2 points that are probably about 150 metres, and we're just going up and down, fishing the same area, fishing around about 2 metres. sometimes the fish would move into the shallow bit and then they'd go back down to the 2 to 3 metre bit. But yeah, it was a long day trying to fish the same stretch. We did leave it and try and return and see if things change, maybe get an extra upgrade, but no, it didn't happen for us.
Right. Okay. So you said that the fish kind of got smaller throughout the day. So did the bite change?
Bite was on pretty much as soon as we pulled up. And then for us, it just, let's say the fish got smaller and smaller throughout the rest of the day. The bigger fish either weren't interested or they weren't playing game, or maybe we just hit them too hard. Not too sure. But yeah, that was what we found anyhow.
Yeah, okay. And compared to the other teams, like, do the other teams get, like, you seem to have got fish all day. Was that pretty typical for the competition, do you think?
I think if you're in that sort of same stretch, there was a couple of teams that were in the same stretch that we were, and they ended up, getting around the same sort of bag weights. So if you were fishing that area, the fish were on, but we tried, like I said, a few different places and we hardly got any attention. But as soon as we went back to where we originally were, we started catching fish again. Yeah, just even though they were just smaller, that was all.
Right. Okay. So, look, I don't know the answer to this. So in that sort of area, like, I'm trying to work out, are they spawning this time of year or not?
Well, I didn't see any sort of evidence of them spawning. I mean, some of them were nice and fat, so maybe they were just leading up to it. Yeah, I mean, they were quite chunky little fish. I think the biggest fish for our day was only a 36 tipper. I don't know how much it weighed, but it had a nice little fight on it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, nice.
But, yeah, I mean, the big bream for the weekend was only 880 grams. So, I mean, the 41 tipper I got 3 weeks previous was a nice hefty fish. It was a nice fat fish. And, yeah, there was no 40s caught this weekend. Well, not for us anyhow during the competition. So, yeah, they were there like 3 weeks ago. Probably, the fish weights might have been a lot bigger. Speaking to other anglers, they did quite well during their pre-fish.
Yeah.
But then something's happened in between that sort of 2-week break and, it wasn't as good as what it was.
Right. And with your slim swims, what sort of jig head weight were you running?
I was running a Atomic Seekers. It's got like an arrow-shaped head. And I believe, especially with the Z-Mans, it just gets them just to kick up a little bit, like on a little bit of a sort of 45.
Yep.
Whether that makes any difference or not, I don't know, but I use them and they work well for me. So, yeah, I'll stick with them. Yeah,
definitely. Look, those ones are built on a Gamakatsu hook, and I rate them. I reckon they're good.
Yep.
So,
yep.
So,
nice.
The other thing, so with your retrieve and what have you, was it a hop across the bottom or a slow wind, or how that looked?
Just a slow roll. Yeah, it was, pretty stock standard. There was nothing really too technical there. It was just sort of cast, let it get to the bottom, and just slow roll. I don't normally do that. I normally do the old hop and do everything like that. And I was like, nah, everyone else just tells me just slow it right down, slow roll. So I'm like, fair enough. So, yep, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. All right. And of the two of you, do you both get sort of equal amounts of fish, or how'd that look?
Yeah, pretty close enough. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, good team event. So, yep.
Nice. Yeah, I did look through the results, and that's why I asked how many fish you caught, because you didn't have to go far down the list before people didn't get a full bag. So it obviously wasn't as easy for everyone. All right. Lines and leaders. What were you running for the week?
4-pound leaders. Everything was 4-pound leaders. Long leaders, like sort of 5-6 meters long. Yeah, everything was braid. I think it was still running the Siglon, Sunline Siglon. I think it's 16 pound or something like that, but it's very, very thin. So the line diameter compared to the fluorocarbon leader, it looks very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. Heavy, I think the Atomic Seekers was like a 1/11th jig head. So that was good because I pretty much had run out most of the day, I think just about all of the day. So having that little bit of a heavier jig head, I think, helped. I didn't try to do anything like a 16th or a 20th. I just stuck with the sort of bit more heavier jig head, and same with Jesse. Jesse was doing a 1/8. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Like I said, I do like that jig head. Usually, when I pair it up with a slim swim, I usually put a bit of super glue gel on it to hold it on. It makes your plastics last way longer. So yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
And look, final thing before we move off the fishing, what about scents? Do you run any scents for the weekend?
Yeah. I think it's still called the Guzzle Goop or the S Factor, whatever it is. Yeah, I think every man and his dog uses that. I think we did try some other couple of scents, but yeah, majority, like as soon as you put scent on, it just helps so much getting the bite. Without it, they just weren't that interested, but as soon as you put scent on, like they were starting to get a little bit more interested in the bite into your plastic.
Fair enough. And actually, one more thing came to mind. Given it was such a close round, 10 grams, did you drop any?
No. Everything that we hooked and you got to the boat, they were the best fish that we got. There was no stories of getting smoked or anything like that. Yeah. What we caught was it. So yeah, they're just happy to catch the ones that we did catch. And yeah, 10 grams. Well, look, hopefully next time we'll make that up.
Exactly. It's such a close round. I do like it when it's like that.
Yeah, so do I. It's good when you're doing the microphone calling and you're actually weighing the bags and you go, I remember our bag was this, and then another bag comes in real close and you're like, geez, okay, that's one ticked off the list. So yeah, it's good fun.
That's right. And as you're weighing them in, like the bags come up and you're like, oh, that's close. That's close.
Exactly. Yeah. Which makes for good for our sport. So yeah.
Exactly. All right, mate. That is brilliant. In terms of prizes, what do you get to take home?
We took home $500 cash. There was $400 vouchers from our sponsor for the WATA series, which was Complete Angler in Netherlands.
Nice.
And then there's also a couple of Shimano reels. Same again, once for our sponsors for the WATA series. So, and then a whole bunch of other like plastics and atomic metals vibes and stuff like that. So yeah, look, we had can't complain. Definitely cannot complain. It was a great prize bag, mix a bit of cash, vouchers, and product. So awesome.
How good is that? All right, mate. One more thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, look, it's always like I do every single time. It's to the anglers. You know, like we've got great anglers. We had 28 teams fish for there 3 weeks ago. We had kayak round, which we had 39 anglers. So yeah, it was really good. And then always to the sponsors. You know, they've been supporting us for a long time, make our job easy, what we love to do. Yeah, we just love doing what we do. So we're, not a big thing. We've got like 6 guys on our little committee. We do the best that we can and, try and put together a series that's fun for everyone to enjoy.
Exactly, mate. Well, it's a great little series you've got going on there. But look, thanks for coming on again, and hopefully we can have a chat just before the end of the year.
Yeah, we've got a couple of grand finals coming up, so hopefully, fingers crossed, do all right in them.
Yeah, very good, very good. All right, mate. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks, mate.
Are you in the market for a new kayak fishing tournament, looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak, or possibly looking at fishing kayak fishing tournaments? Then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks, stock the latest kayak accessories, and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher and the tournament angler. hws.com.au, online or in-store at Shop 3/638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. James offers free delivery on Hobie kayaks across all Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. So James is still offering that awesome deal where if you go and purchase a kayak, doesn't matter which one it is across the Hobie kayak range, he's going to give you a stand-up paddleboard to go along with that. I know the things that have been selling hot lately have been the passports, so the 10.5 and the 12.5 or 12 coming in at under 2K, as well as the Hobie Lynx. The Hobie Lynx is basically a stand-up paddleboard with a seat and pedals put through it and a rudder at the back, and this thing is unbelievable. It's light, it's compact, it is fast on the water, fast on takeoff, and it turns on a dime. It's got the best turning of all the non-360 kayaks in the range. So if there's something you're looking at, then go to hws.com.au or give James a call and he will take care of you. All right, so finally in first place we have Team Casterline. They won by just the narrowest of margins. So 4 fish for 2.370. I've got Rick Raynham and Steve Newboroughh. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, Andrew. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I do like the comps which are really close, like, only 40 or 50 grams between the top few, and you guys scrape through with just 10 grams. How good is that?
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking on the day, watching them all come in and, just...
Yeah, weighed early, and obviously you're just kind of expecting somebody just to keep pipping you, but those all just staying just underneath us. So, worked out good in the end.
Exactly. I'm looking at the table, and down to sixth place, which was Carl and Matthew, they got 2.2, and a 2.2 and a 2.37 bag don't look that different. Like when they come up, you'd be like, oh, I don't know. So
yeah.
So definitely a bit nerve-wracking. All right. So let's talk about your pre-fish. Did you guys get down leading up to the event prior to the pre-fish ban and have a look around?
Yeah, we had just before the pre-fish ban came on, we did a couple of weekends, a couple of days there, and we had some pretty good results, actually. The first one, I think we had 13 fish over 30 from about 8 different spots. So we were pretty confident we'd had a bit of a plan together, and at least we'd have a few spots to try and a few to fall back on.
Yeah, right. I was going to say 8 different spots. That's a good platform to come in on.
Yeah. It was nice because it can be a bit hit and miss this time of year, and you just never know. And the Swan's got a bit of a reputation of doing one thing on pre-fish and another thing completely different on comp day. But thankfully, we found it was pretty similar.
Yeah, right.
Probably the size of the fish wasn't quite there that we found in pre-fish, but on comp day. But yeah, we still found plenty of bites.
Yeah, certainly wasn't fish on all the spots either.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, but yeah, enough. That was the main thing.
Exactly. And did you crack any sort of patterns on pre-fish?
We tend to find them either really shallow early in amongst the snags in the trees, kind of fishing weedless plastics, or later on in about 8-9 foot of water where there was a bit of flow.
That's where they'll sit in, but we kind of find where the fish sit. If you find where the fish are sitting, you often get bites from them, but we feel the fish kind of off those shoals kind of push up into the edges looking for something to eat. So often you catch them kind of shallow off them areas, we feel.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm picturing maybe a school or a small school of fish in the middle of the river, but then you'll get fish adjacent to them on the shallow sort of thing?
Yeah, not so much the middle of the river, kind of down the drop-off, sat, in kind of 8 to 10 foot of water was the pattern we kind of found through kind of winter and that. And you could often get a bite from those fish, but you could cast and you're putting your lure in them, but they wouldn't often bite. But I just feel when they do want to feed, they just push into that edge and have a bit of a mooch around for a feed, and that's often just up the bank from where the sat would get the bites.
I think that in the 1s and 2s, they might kind of come up onto the shallows and just have a bit of a feed, then drop back down and go quiet again,
Yeah, okay. Well, that's really interesting. So you've got yourself set for comp day. Tell us how comp day went. I think you said before that you got a bit of a late draw.
Yeah, we got a late draw. We drew 20th off the mark, so we sat there on the start line, and we were one of the few boats that we made our plan that we were going to go up. So the Bayswater Sea Scout hut, where the start was, we sat there and we watched, I think, 18 boats go down. So at that point, we were questioning ourselves, well, hang on, have we got something very wrong here or something? So anyway, then 2 boats, I think it was 17 went down, and then the 18th boat went up, then the 19th boat went up, and then we went up at boat number 20, and then everyone else went down. So,
yeah.
So that's the point where you're either a genius or you've just missed it. And you know how it's looking after this one.
Yeah. Part of me was thinking this could be a very long day, and part of me was thinking, oh, well, actually, we might get some fresh water here that was pretty untouched if they're still there.
Absolutely. All right. Tell us about your first spot or your first fish.
Yeah, well, so we obviously followed 2 boats going up. One dropped off very early from the launch area. The next one was following it up, and we wasn't going to go too far to the first area we wanted to try. And as we was going up, we started veering over to it and thought, oh, that's good. These other guys are going up, and all of a sudden we just swung across and had the same idea as us. So
That's pretty much where we wanted to start.
Yeah, they did drop in a little bit further up. So we thought, there's enough room for us to drop in early. So they kind of dropped in the main bit where we wanted to be. So we had a few casts and a few little bites, but just didn't feel right. And it's an area we'd earmarked because the tide was up. But we give it, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And then the boat, which had dropped off before us, started to move. And we're like, right, let's go. So we pulled up and we went further up river to our next spot, which is a similar kind of bank.
Yeah, shallow, trees in the water, that kind of thing.
Which is somewhere with earmarked fish only early. Generally, as the day goes on, you don't seem to catch there. So we went, dropped in on that bank, worked along it. And
I got a small one and then a grunter pretty much straight away.
Yeah, and just towards the end of this bank, I nailed our first legal at 31.
Okay.
So nice little fat one to start the day.
Yeah. And then we worked another 10 or 15 metres along that bank and there was nothing more, was there?
No more bites. So from there...
What did you get your first fish on?
Because where it is, it's shallow and there's quite a lot of structure and that in there. It was just on a bait junkie grub, fished weedless.
Right. Okay. How did you fish a weedless? Did you just have the jig head twisted up in the lure or did you have a worm hook style hook?
It was one of those nail bombs. Have you seen those? They're really good hooks. They were built on a Gamakatsu hook. They were really sharp. Yeah. And it was one of those wave minnows, I think, wasn't it?
No, mine was just a bait junkie grub I had on.
Yeah. So, and I think, we're trying to look for the reaction bite there. Sometimes the fish sitting amongst them branches and you cast to them and occasionally you'll drop one out of their nose and they'll just have a shot at it, so.
Yeah. How do you find the nail bomb pulling it through the trees over there?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get your plastic right and rigged up, I actually like to bend the hook in a little bit as well without letting too many people know. So I like to bend the hook down a little bit more because obviously if you rig it up right, as they bite down, they bite through, and because the bottom of the hook obviously it pulls the plastic clear and opens up the kind of a shank and the point. I just find bending it down very slightly, it just helps to not get in, because you do still get snagged up with them. Sure. It just helps a little bit, I've found. But
nice.
Yeah. Again, it's critical rigging your plastic right, though, I feel.
I think so. And one of the good things about the nail bombs is they're a really sharp hook.
Yeah.
If you get them in, they're going to probably go in.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And they're surprisingly strong because they're quite thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of flex in them, but just what they are. But like I say, every time you nail a fish on it, it's pinned generally just in the corner of its mouth, and it's an effort to get the hook out, to be honest, at times. It's really, really pins them.
Very good. All right. So where'd you move on to from there?
So then we headed upstream. We had another little spot in mind, which is a slightly deeper area. And we fished that with the baby vibes.
So it started with baby vibes, yeah.
The good old black and gold baby vibe, which is a bit of a go-to on the Swan.
Absolutely.
And it was absolutely dead.
Yeah.
And we caught some good fish there in practice, so that was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And then we headed up again, moved to another little similar spot, kind of 8-9 foot of water, a few rocks around.
Yeah.
The rock wall.
We did sound fish out as soon as we got there. There was fish. There was fish actually, because it was kind of around high tide at that point, and the water was already moving off. So we could see some flow through this area, and the fish were actually well kind of down from where they normally sit.
Sure.
So as soon as we kind of crept up there on the trolling motor, we could see the fish.
There's a bit of a point that catches the flow a bit. So, and they were just down about 10 metres from that. And so Rick started fishing. There was plenty of fish around the boat on the sounder. I think you start with a baby vibe. Yeah. I was doing something on the back of the boat, getting myself sorted out, I think. And he fished for probably 5 minutes while I was messing around and nothing.
Nah, not
but the fish were there.
Yeah.
So I picked up the mussel, the new little muss, and threw it out. And within 10 seconds, the tip was rattling and we're on. So it was quite surprising because I was only fishing 2 or 3 meters away from where Rick was.
Yeah.
That was...
But when you hooked this, was one of the other guys was coming past. So he's like, oh, rub down and just like
Maybe clever.
winding it in like slowly so they didn't see. And of course it came off, didn't it? So we're like, right, okay. But
then cast straight back in again and give it a bit of a good shake and straight away it's on again. So it was amazing,
like
really.
30 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 30, I think. Yeah. So got that one in the net. That was good.
So then I'm like, right, chuck the baby vibe down. I thought I'll get my muscle out. So I got my muscle out and I chucked it in nice and tight into the bank and literally instantly just got rattled and hit into a decent fish.
Yeah.
So obviously coaxed it out of the trouble and that. And yeah, we slipped the net and it was actually our biggest fish of the day. It was a 34.
Yeah. But you were fishing right off the point at that point. When you dropped that cast right on the point where I was fishing 10 metres further downstream.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because you didn't get a lot of bites on that point, but the fish we caught they were much bigger, weren't they?
It was, yeah. All the ones kind of together and down seemed to be like 29, 30, kind of 31 kind of size.
Right.
But yeah, we probably had, so we had that one.
And then another 29 there, didn't we, which I think I got.
Yeah, which I think then filled the bag.
Yeah, that was before. Yeah. And then it went quiet, didn't it? Maybe we got one more.
Yeah, I think we got one more.
And it went quiet. So,
yeah.
And that was when we decided to go up a bit further to another little spot. Yeah. And that was another similar area, a bit shallower, but with rocks. And we'd had some good fish in there. And that was the biggest fish in the pre-fish there, didn't we? But that was sea fish there, but not in the quantity.
Yeah, I think I had once only a 26 or a 27. So obviously it wasn't any kind of upgrade. So it went back, but it just
wasn't happening. It was just, it didn't feel right. So, yeah, where did we go after that?
We carried on up, just went up. We went up probably another, from there, probably best part of probably getting on 3/4 of a kilometre, I'd say, upriver from there.
Mm.
And dropped in on another bank where we'd caught fish in pre-fish and, just so quiet. We're like, ooh, okay. So we carried on up.
That was the point where we had a decision to make, didn't we? Because the next spot where we caught a lot of fish in pre-fish was away. It was another 20 minutes up. And the Swan, I don't know if you know the Swan, but you've got this painful stretch up from all the way up, basically from where you launch, where it's all 5 knots all the way. So it was kind of a 25-minute journey up to the spot we wanted to fish. And there was 2 spots in the pre-fish where we caught a lot of fish. And there was that one where we caught this in the competition, and there was another spot right the way up in the Swan Valley. So we made I insisted, didn't I? You weren't very happy about it, but I insisted we go and give it a go.
I was like, it's your call, this.
Your head, So I was sweating it all the way up there because I thought if I'm wrong, I would be in big trouble here.
It's like, it's only 10 minutes. I'm like, it's definitely not 10 minutes, David. It's like 20, definitely 25, I would say.
Timekeeping's not my forte. So.
But there you go.
But we got up there and you chucked in, didn't you? First cast and had one.
Yeah, 27. Hadn't even hit the bottom. We're like, oh, hang on, this could be okay.
Thought, yes, I'm justified here. I've got it correct.
Literally, that was the fish we caught.
Right.
So turn around and come back again.
Yeah. But we come back, we drop. We had a quick look at a couple of spots on the way back down, but then we went to the area where we caught these fish early. And basically got there, we stayed kind of back.
So this was about 12 this time, wasn't it, when we got back?
Yeah. Right. Soon after, about 12:15, I think it was. But we got back there, which is we find kind of a good bite window time. You know, you get the early bite, you get a lull, and then you do get these fish around that, like lunchtime, middle of the day. And we kind of obviously spot locked off from that point and we're straight into fish straight away.
Right.
And I think we made one upgrade kind of pretty much straight away.
Which was a 31.
Which was like a 31 from a 30. But the fat, this fish weighed 580 grams, which is a good...
Nice. Yeah.
And then literally where I caught the 34 from, in the morning, I literally put a cast in exactly the same spot and it got nailed by a 33, which was the fish which I believe made the difference to us because that upgrade, chucking out, it upgraded us like 100 odd grams, that fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But same thing, just on the mussels again, same areas. There's fish under the boat where we were sat. But the fish were right up in the edge feeding.
Yeah, right. Let's dig into a couple of things. With the musk, did you use the little musks the whole time?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
The one with the little blue fleck on it or the little green fleck on it.
Yeah, and I had the one from fishing.com with the little brown bit on the edge, like...
Yeah.
So both did diff, but it didn't matter. There was eating mussels and
the live well afterwards was full of mussels.
Oh, yeah, honestly, I'd half an handful of smashed up mussels in the bottom of the live well when I got back.
And I think it's just, it's an easy meal for them. They're kind of sat in the flow. They're not having to expend too much energy to get a feed. Plenty of mussels around in that area, obviously, and it's just easy for them. They're not chasing bait fish or anything like that. So
Exactly. And in terms of cast and retrieve, how'd you do that?
Well, we probably do it a bit differently. I kind of cast out, and I was quite a violent shake of the rod tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find a lot of when you catch them in the edge, a lot of the times you cast it in, and I think they virtually watch it come down and stuff like that. And I just do a few little kind of like hops more than anything, just trying to kind of get their attention and come down, and the odd little rattle and that, but nothing too erratic. Just little trembles, little jangles with the tip. That's how I find. Whereas Steve's, quite erratic shake in the end.
The amount of times I've cast in and I've got caught on a branch or a rock and I'm shaking it to try and get it loose, and so a fish picks it off. It's happened so many times. So that's kind of my style.
I can vouch for that. It happens so many times that Steve gets stuck on something.
It's a special skill. It's a special skill.
Yeah, and just rely on the fish to just take your lures off snags. It's kind of Very good. All right. What was interesting about that is the bite period for the day. So you got a couple of fish later. The bite period the minor was at 107 through to 237. So you would have been coming into that second bite period.
I would say when we come back to that area, I think we probably had 6 legals off that point.
Mm-hmm.
We had kind of 4 in the morning. We'd had that one fish before. We had a few smaller legals, which were not upgrades, at dotted areas kind of going up. And then when we come back down, we actually caught more fish. We caught I'm sure we caught 6 fish when we come back down. But, we had 2 bigger fish, which we swapped fish out for. But then the others were only 29, 30s. But yeah, that was kind of the best bite was...
They were certainly holding on around that point where the flow was, weren't they?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we could see them on the sound that was just everywhere there, really.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming that trip up the river just gave them enough rest time to make it perfect when you got back.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, because it definitely did die off. We'd pulled a few fish from it, and...
Even the second time we were there, after we caught 5 or 6 fish, it went quiet.
It did go quiet. And then, we thought we've got to leave time to... There's a couple of spots we wanted to try on the way back where we've caught good fish for, which...
We wanted to try the first spot that the other boat beat us to. That was it, because often you get a really good fish from there. And we thought if we can get one high 30s, we will be there.
Yeah, we knew we'd be... well, obviously coming back in, we knew we had an okay bag. The fish were fat.
Yeah.
We kind of knew we had around that 2.3, 2.4. We just felt we needed to get rid of the smallest one and just get that kind of kicker, which is why we went to this other bank. But
as I mentioned before in the pre-conversation we had, Andrew, we made the decision we're going to weigh everyone as we caught them and just keep a log. And then, because they were in spawn and they're kind of a lot the same, similar size. So we thought it'd be tight. So we were very meticulous with our record keeping, and I think that kind of really paid dividends,
Yeah.
Don't often do that. It's kind of the first time I think we've really done it, isn't it? But
yeah. Well, sometimes you can have smaller fish, but way more.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's the other thing being...
Yeah.
And we thought the fish caught down would be skinnier, so it just,
Yeah, look, I think with Bream and around that 600-700 grams or 500-700 grams, you can miss 30 or 40 grams just by looking at them. Like,
easily,
you can't tell.
Yeah.
So, I think that's definitely a key thing to do. All right. In terms of the fishing, what sort of lines and leaders were you running for the weekend or for the day?
Well, we differ a little bit there. Mick kind of fishes a little bit heavier than me. So I'm kind of, on the muscle rod, I'm using 4 pounds straight through. That's the 4 pound, was it the Sniper I think I use? Yeah, so I'm playing around with straight through this year a little bit and kind of enjoying that.
Okay.
And then on my structure plastics rod, I was using the 06 braid. And then I think that's the Dio. I won the Expedition. Is it Expedition? Yeah. And then it was 6 pound leader, which again is the X-Link leader, I think, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
where was I on my muscles? I was obviously 06 braid, and I was fishing 06. I like the FC Rock.
In 6 pound.
In 6 pound, yeah. I think with a watercolour how it is, and when you're fishing up in that edge, I don't feel the need to go down to 4 pound. I think 6 pound's fine. You know, Steve's fishing 4 pound, I'm fishing 6. It didn't make any difference.
It was well
really
coloured.
didn't.
It was really well coloured.
And even the fish fishing into the edge with the weedless, because I'm fishing into snags, I believe it's a reaction bite. The kind of plastic I'm fishing, it's a bit more stand out, and I've just been fishing 8 pound on a heavier rod with that because, I literally feel that I fish 6 pound and stuff like that. I had one rigged up, but I just felt, I feel you get the bite regardless because it's a reaction bite.
Yeah.
With that colour as well, and obviously a bit of movement, and I just don't feel the need to scale it down at this time of the year when the water's coloured like it is.
Sure. With your baby vibes, are you guys rigging them with 1 hook or 2?
Anyone.
Anyone, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been using the doubles a lot on the back, just on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Doubles pointing upwards.
Yeah. Only when fishing into structure, because basically you do that. We found it's pinned enough fish, but you could chuck them into some real gnarly stuff and bounce them through. Because if you do, we don't even fish a split ring on them. We just put the double hook on.
Yeah.
It sits in as long, and often you can just chuck it in and you can bounce it across the rocks and feel it, and you just don't snag up. And
yeah, nice.
I do feel for what every now and again it will sacrifice you a fish. I just feel it gets you more bites in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's a really good call. I mean, I've been thinking, actually, I have done it, but I haven't put any time into it.
Yeah.
So
more so in the summer, this time of year when we're fishing like down the drop-offs a bit more with baby vibes, we'll go to a treble. But as summer comes in and we're more into a bit of structure and stuff like that, I'll revert back to a double.
Yeah, it's something we've done quite a lot of, and it's confidence at the end of the day, isn't it? And we've kind of got a lot of confidence in it now. It's done us quite well, hasn't it?
Yeah. That's really interesting. As we speak, I'm heading off to Malakuta on the weekend to fish the Hobies, and they're looking at changing the launch from down the front to upriver, like way upriver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it'll go into be a more of an edge bite, snag bite sort of thing. So
yeah, if you do fish that double hook, obviously the only just the clip on, it's not every now and again. If you get a funny hook up, you could come back with no hook on it, literally.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
Just if you take the split ring off and you put it through at the back, you get them 2 hooks up. So when you're working it and you're dragging it on, your hooks aren't kind of down like an anchor. They're kind of up out the way, and you can cast it in, bump it over branches and stuff like that until you're clear. You can get it right in there.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a shot.
And then even when it's on, you can generally ping them off. It's not very often you lose a baby vibe because you get it stuck.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's very cool. I'm going to give that a run. Not the first time, like I said, not the first time I've had it mentioned to me, but very timely.
Yeah. What's interesting, we're actually fishing quite soft rods with those, aren't you? Yours is a...
Mine's the original. I've got an original 722 in feet I use for my muscles and baby vibes. The 2018 model. I love them for it. Nice and soft, and you just don't seem to pull hooks on them.
Yeah.
I've got the full range of the original in feets, and I'm starting to change a few when I'm finding the newer in feets that I like. But 722s, I've got no intention of moving them on. I love them for baby vibes and muscles.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Was there anything else that we should talk about with regards to fishing on the day?
I don't know, really.
No.
It was just a funny day. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, it was kind of nice in a way that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the people that usually do well, who know the systems and are great anglers, but they actually didn't feature this round. The top 3 or 4 were people that were new teams, which is good for the sport. People.
Yeah.
There's actually new people on the podium places for a change. So it's good.
Because like the team of the year, the first 2 rounds we've done okay. We've not made the podium, but we've been in the prizes. So we was kind of up there. I think we sat in 4th place for the team of the year prior to this, with 2 teams 5 points in front of us, and we're like, they're consistent. You're expecting them to be top 5 definitely, and both of them ended up, I think one ended up 6th and the other team ended up 11th. So we've actually jumped straight to the top of the team of the year.
It keeps it interesting, and that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah. So all to play for now. And, some of the guys breathing down the neck behind us are very good anglers, very experienced with these systems. And this is only our 3rd year with the boat bream fishing. We've only literally been... Mm-hmm. We've probably been bream fishing maybe 5 years.
It's learning, yeah. But the scene over here is great because it's small, it's really friendly, everyone shares a lot. So it's been really, for us, I mean, we fished together in the UK, we're from the same town, so we've kind of known each other for 30 odd years, and then we've both independently moved over here and not unbeknown to each other, and then kind of reconnected and thought, we'll go fishing, and it's just escalated because we used to do competitions in the UK.
It's gone from walking the bank with a bream rod like 5 years ago to now, paddle kayak. Then this is rubbish. Get a pedal kayak. Now we're in Hobies and bought a boat, did it up. Now we're in a bass boat and
you're champions.
We've got a bit carried away.
How good is that?
But it's been a lot of fun, and the scene. I think all credit to the guys over here. They won a really nice competition. It's super friendly. They encourage everyone to go along, and people share a bit afterwards. And it's just been great, really. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
How good is that? That's very good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along. So, what did you guys get to take home for first place in this one?
We got $1,200 in cash and $400 voucher from one of the sponsors, which was Complete Angler Netherlands.
Wow.
Yeah. And Rick spent it already in his head.
It's on laws for Steve because he hangs them up in the trees all the time.
Fair enough. What's good about the vouchers is you have to go and spend it on things that you want. Like, you have to go buy lures or rods or whatever.
And, fair play to the sponsors over here. They're very generous. And, we've had some great prizes in each comp.
Yeah, even like every competitor from of the sponsor of this round, Complete Angler, every team got a $50 voucher. So
incredibly generous. Brilliant.
Just for the people obviously that didn't do any good, still get a voucher from them, and
it's great. It's really great.
Worth them hanging about for like the weigh-in and presentation and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many great local shops here, in Tackle West and Netherlands, Complete Angler Netherlands, and Michelle at Getaway, and they do so much for the scene over here, and they're so generous, and that's great, So I'm a firm believer in supporting those guys as much as you can. It's just brilliant, and I believe that those smaller tackle shops, they, coming from the UK, it was interesting. Like there used to be a little tackle shop in every town, and in fact, our team named Castelline is our shop in our local town,
right?
So, which is so no longer with us, sadly, because what's happened is there's been 2 big players come in and basically decimated the small tackle business over there. So a lot of these smaller shops closed down, and it's now just 2 big kind of superstores, and they have them all over the place.
Yeah.
But a lot of that community that was formed around those smaller shops is now gone. You used to walk into our local Castelline and there'd always be 3 or 4 guys there having a chin wag and sharing information. And I think it's very true that 10% of the anglers catch 90% of the fish.
Yeah.
And to find those anglers, go to the smaller shops, and that information gets shared around. So I encourage people to support the local tackle shops and the people that support the scene,
I think so. I think
it's a really important point.
Definitely important. So, well, look, in addition to that, before we shoot off, is there anyone else or anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously the WATA crew for all they do, arranging these comps, and I know it's not easy getting everything lined up, and they do a cracking job. always there if there's any questions that you need to ask. Obviously, the sponsors for offering up, all the prizes and stuff like that we do. And of course, our partners for putting up with us and letting us free to do what we love doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not moaning when we're getting up at 5 a.m. to go.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said for that, It's
putting up with us when we come back and we've had a bad day.
That's it. That's it. Oh, there you go. All right, guys. Hey, this has been fun having to talk to you guys. Congratulations on the win and good luck in the AOY and the couple of last comps for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, good luck in your comp at Malakuta, was it?
Yeah, Malakuta. Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for that result.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm at the higher end rather than the lower end.
Hey, get them double hooks on them baby vines. When I say chuck it in the trees, I mean in the water. Like not.
Oh, we all put lures in trees. Sometimes they're in the water.
Some of us are better than others, Andrew.
Exactly. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.
No worries.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so there you have it, everybody. Probably the most surprising thing out of this episode is that we didn't have either Joseph Gardner or Alex Griesdorf in the top 3. I don't think that's happened since I've been recording. Anyway, look, great little competition. Congratulations to the guys taking out first, second, and third. In other news, I think a couple of weeks ago I promoted that I was going to do, like based on the back of myself doing some walking and feeling a whole lot better, I was going to do a little Facebook group that has just started. It's funny. I was thinking about it, I went, okay, nobody took it up. Anyway, I've got another guy that's taken it up. So it's definitely started. If you're looking for somewhere where you can there's no cost to this, you can just talk to a group. And we're just going to go out and, I don't know, just, I guess, track and have some accountability for those in the group. So you can just say, yep, I went out today. I did my walk like I said I would. And we'll all say, well done you, and everybody be happy. But we'll definitely keep each other motivated. So that's the whole point. Anyway, shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. It's probably the easiest way. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Look, thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired, and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.